Right, here we are, game 3 of standards for Felix against Simon, European League. Right, so Felix and Simon mulliganed to 6, both of them mulliganed to 6, and both kept their hand afterwards. I really shouldn't be commentating right now, answering Schweinemann right now, but whatever. Um, yeah, so that's kind of my guilty pleasure. Aha, we see it turn to Relentless Dead here from Simon, which is met immediately by a fatal push, but a fairly slow start with a hissing quagmire immediately. Oh well, whatever. Seriously, I shouldn't do this. Because I know you're... Actually, yeah, okay, that was the last thing I typed. I'm just going to type in Discord to these. It's probably not online in Discord. It's never online in Discord. Okay, we see Gonti Lord of Luxury here from Felix. That might be pretty goddamn good because he could really get some strong bombs. Okay, so what happened was we saw the Diagraph Colossus being cast. It was met immediately by a Grasp of Darkness, and an Evolving Wilds cracked. So that probably searched up that swamp so that now he could play the forest. Alright, so we see a Grasp of Darkness going back to kill Lagonti. We see a really controlling matchup here. Like going side and side, really grindy. Um, Lagonti should still be able to cast. We should still be able to cast a card from Gonti. And we might be able to see what it is. Oh, and we see a Liliana's Mastery is one of the best cards to hit from Simon here. And that is looking very grim for Simon, as he had no turn 5 play. He's apparently just using fatal pushes on one of the two zombies, which is 1 for a half, and it's really not working out. That's even called favorably because, well, likely Felix is not going to have any zombies in his deck, but who knows? This is yeah, that was a huge swing right there. The being able to pick up Liliana's Mastery with a Gonti Lord of Luxury is just big play. You see again no play from Simon. Only 2 cards in hand. Felix has, well, had 4, now 3. We don't know how many of those are lands, but also Simon has a Westfield Abbey on the field with no creatures to sacrifice, not even enough land to activate it, and get a blocker for 1 life. So he's still at a high life total. And he's pretty far behind on, well, pretty much all the metrics. Now he has equal cards in hand as um, Simon, but okay, so now Felix has more cards in hand, a bigger board state, has more lands and a higher life total, so Simon is only slightly behind, but he is behind on every single metric of the game. And we see a Relentless Dead here, which might be very important as it is one of the cards that can not only die and recur itself, but when it dies, it will also be able to bring back, for example, another Relentless Dead. So, and as we just saw, Kalitas on the other side of the battlefield just died. So that means that right now, Simon is in a fairly good position again. But apparently he lets through the zone. Now that's something that I don't quite understand, because I myself would have probably paid the 3 mana for one to bring back the Relentless Dead itself from the graveyard, and then 2 to bring back a second Relentless Dead. Now he's going for a never to return. Well, not to return site, but never at least. Wonder what he's going to do now. And also, as you can see, this is a comment I hadn't made yet, but perhaps should have already. Felix has abandoned the 4-color control deck that he took from the SCG tournament. My friend Schweiner has been trying it out quite a lot recently and has had some success with it, with I believe some slight changes, but one usually does make changes to adapt to a newer meta when playing control, so it's only normal that you change decks there. Now this is an interesting block because he chooses to block the zombie rather than the. Oh no, that is weird. No, yeah, no, now the triggers. It was just a bit slow. Now he chose to block the zombie, which is 3 damage, but he could have also blocked the hissing quagmire, which would have taken down at least one of his lands, one of Felix's lands. I find myself disagreeing with Simon's playstyle here quite a lot. 2, of course, I am no expert. I am just another player here. I see a never here. Of course, he doesn't have enough mana to bring back Relentless Dead, but then again, that Relentless Dead was just a freebie given by him from the. Now that is also a play I would not have made. I myself would have played Relentless Dead, kept him on defense, and then possibly, if he attacked again, use the black mana and to get the Relentless Dead back and use 3 mana to get back the Diregraph Colossus. Now we might see the Diregraph Colossus being exiled with return, or we might see the Relentless Dead being exiled with return. Something that might not have happened if it was for Like perhaps if he had gone for the play that I just mentioned, where if he played Relentless Dead without Dread Wanderer and kept his mana open enough to bring back Diregraph, then we might have seen Diregraph Colossus being exiled. Never, but right now return. Oh, I mean return, the return side of never to return. Now return is targeting Relentless Dead, so that he won't be able to. Oh, and one of the interesting things here is that Liliana's Mastery is making that zombie a 3/3. And Felix is using his advantage to the most here. Now, I still think that my play would have been better, because then, even if Diagraph Colossus were to have been exiled, at least he would have been able to get back the Dread Wanderer, which now he's impossible. He can't do. So, also, if he had blocked the Hissing Quagmire last turn, he would have had 1 damage more, but right now Felix wouldn't have enough mana to animate another land after having played Never. Now, I'm not saying that these different plays would win him the game, but I do believe that they pretty much locked him out of the game right now. It's also interesting to see what would be Felix's last hand, last card in his hand. I mean, it might just be another land, but perhaps well, perhaps he's keeping a land back as well, because if you're really flooding with a green-black deck, sometimes you keep a land back so that if you draw a tireless tracker or two, he might have been playing a land every single turn right now. There's also something to be said for playing every land you can, simply because that Colossus is pretty much in his path to victory right now. Because even if he animates a hissing quagmire right now, he could just bring in the Dread Wanderer. And it seems that he opted to let his Dread Wanderer die just so he could reanimate Colossus, which I do think is actually a good play here. I don't know exactly how Diagraph Colossus became a 4/4, as there was only one Relentless Dead in the graveyard as far as I know. Or wait, yeah, he probably blocked with Dread Wanderer as well. I was gone for a sec checking out Facebook messages, so yeah, likely he blocked with those two. Still, like, if he had not played Dread Wanderer, and if he had bought Diagraph Colossus at that point, the Dread Wanderer would have netted him. Oh, now this is a very interesting card. Yeah, this is the perfect card you want to draw when you've got lots of land, when you've, well, pretty much been flooding. And yes, it seemed probably he would have played this earlier if he had it. So I think that the last card in Felix's hand was another land, so he really was flooded. to an extreme amount, and I suspect he will be firing Walking Ballista off at Dread Wanderer to ensure that he isn't able to block, and then perhaps one to the Human Cleric, so that that one can block either, but he'll pretty much keep the Walking Ballista at the 2 counters, because that way he can still fire at Diregraph Colossus if Diregraph Colossus blocks, and he can still keep Walking Ballista to start pumping him again next turn for 8 mana. That's 2 more counters. That means he can kill another Dread Wanderer, another Human Cleric token without really needing to sacrifice anything. Now, that doesn't look too good for Felix. So yeah, he shows Knots, which might actually be the better play here, because this way he can build up momentum more easily, and he has another big creature that he can use to attack with. It will be interesting to see whether Simon wishes to go for the double block there. I know he doesn't go for a double block to force the issue on the Walking Ballista. Chooses to just block Dread Wanderer and a Cleric. Now Dread Wanderer will be able to come back, but the problem with that is that it comes into the battlefield tapped, so it won't be able to defend properly. Now you see a Walking Ballista shot being fired at the Diregraph Colossus here. Diregraph Colossus dies in combat, which is a big deal because that was the thing that was holding back Felix's forces here, and Felix really wants to put that pressure on. Now we'll likely see an end of turn Westvale Abbey. Oh no, we did not see an end of turn Westvale Abbey activation, so basically Simon did nothing with his mana from last turn, which kind of surprises me. Because um, even if a cleric dies to one of Felix's Walking Ballista spikes, it's still just 1 life that he lost versus. Oh, and he's even attacking. It seems Simon has just completely given up on the match. Just throws in the towel. Or no, actually, he might be hoping that Walking Ballista blocks so that he can use if near Deadlands on on the Walking Ballista, but I don't see that happening here. I think Felix will just let the damage through. Felix seems to just be stunned by that attack. Yeah, this is taking longer than I would have expected it to take. Okay, yep, just let through, and this really spells Simon's defeat. Because even now, if he makes a token, he can just. Yeah, and he even chooses to use what's left of his mana to make a Dread Wanderer. Even now, if he makes a token, Walking Ballista could ping the token, make sure there's no blocker. He has 8 mana to make it into a 4-4 again, and then he could just hit with a 4-4 and a 3-3, and that's not even necessary because he can afterwards fire off all his counters on Walking Ballista. Yeah, and as you see, there's no token here. So, right, there is going to be made a blocker. He goes to 7. Walking Ballista fires at the cleric. It's 5 damage coming through, and afterwards Walking Ballista can just shoot 2 damage to the face. Can even pump up 2 times to ensure he can shoot up to 4 damage to the face. Or hit for... yeah, he can even pump up to just hit for lethal. And yeah, that's game. We see the concessions here. It seems Felix did not go for the over-the-top overkill route. I was wrong. Um, he drew another walk. Oh no, he's pumping Walking Ballista. Yeah, he's just playing it safe because there might be... well, even if there was a fatal push or something, would still have just killed Simon. Right, that was game. That was it for game 3 of the league. Felix's goes 2-1.